You know, I love golf. It's one of my favorite sports. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's how I relax. I get to get out of my office. I get to get out of the busy world of everything else that's going on and take my cell phone and put it on vibrate, throw it in the golf bag, and for 4 hours, man, nothing bothers me. I just get to be out there in nature and doing something challenging and doing something fun. My name is Brian McIntosh. Today's the Daily Dose. And so what? I like golf. Big deal. What's that got to do with anything? Well, here's what it has to do with something. Most of us, the overwhelming majority of us, 99.999% of us are amateur golfers, meaning that we're not very good. And we pay money to play the game. We give money up to a club or a golf course, and they allow us to come on there and play the game. But are there people in this world that actually get paid to do what I pay money to do on the weekends? What do you think? Of course there are. Professional golfers. Tiger Woods, one of the wealthiest athletes ever, famous for being a golfer. Same thing with Phil Mickelson. Same thing with these new hotshot golfers that are coming out and taking the tour by storm right now. And even some of the classics, the Greg Normans and the Freddie Couples and those guys. They've made millions and millions and millions of dollars playing golf. So how can these guys make millions of dollars playing golf, and yet I have to cough up $80 to go hit the links for 4 hours on the weekend? What's the difference? And the answer is that those guys are pros and I'm an amateur. And you think, well, okay, how is that distinction made? In other words, what makes them pro and makes me amateur? And the answer is they're pros because they get paid to do it and I don't. All right? So how does one become a pro? And here's the answer. You're better than everybody else. And how do you become better than everybody else? And the answer is you train harder, you train longer, you build your life around it, you make the sacrifices necessary, you eat what pros eat, you drink what pros drink, you sleep like pros sleep, you train like pros train, you practice like pros practice, you read books, you watch videos, you go to camps, you get coaches, you spend money, you travel. Do you know, I don't even want to know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of coaching and traveling and everything else might go in to becoming good enough at that game to be a pro. But here's what I know. Unless you're a professional, you don't get paid to play golf. In fact, it costs you money to play that game unless you're a professional. Well, here's the reason why I bring this up. Pros have done a lot of sacrificing and worked really, really hard to get to where they are. It didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen by some magical, mystical talent that fell out of the sky. I mean, yes, some of us have more natural athletic talent than others, but that's not even really the point. The point is that these guys worked their butts off. Michael Jordan, arguably one of the best basketball players ever to walk the planet. I mean, I don't think there's anybody better that's ever set foot on a hard court. This guy was kicked off his junior high basketball team for having no natural ability. Think about that for a second, right? So, how did Michael Jordan become so unbelievably exceptional? And the answer is he outworked everybody. Peyton Manning, arguably one of the best NFL quarterbacks ever to play the game, like the Colts or not, like the Broncos or not, the man is phenomenal. How did he become that way? Ask any coach he's ever worked for. Tony Dungy will tell you this man outworks any quarterback in the league. Every single pass he treats like it's the touchdown game-winning pass in the Super Bowl. Even in practice, he outworks everybody else. He takes it so seriously. So let's translate this to our life, whether it's weight loss, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's finances, whether it's your business, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your children. How many of us are treating these things like amateurs? See, I don't practice my golf game. I don't go practice. I just show up on Sunday, man, and bang it off the tee. Right? And I don't practice. I don't diet for it. I don't travel for it. I don't have a professional coach. I'm an amateur because I don't just don't try very hard. I just show up and play on the weekend because I enjoy it. But do you know that if you treat your relationships that way, if you treat your job that way, if you treat your business that way, if you treat your finances that way, that's okay, but you're going to get amateur results in all of those areas. See, if you want to get professional kinds of results in any one of those areas, you have to do what pros do. You've got to be willing to do more than what everybody else will do. You've got to be willing to train harder than everybody else will train. You've got to be willing to put more time in than anybody else will put. You've got to become fanatical about whatever it is you're trying to change in your life. If it's health and wellness, great. If it's relationship, great. If it's finances, great. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can't do it all at once. Because you can't be fanatical about 7 things at one time. So you've got to pick something that needs working on, and then you've got to get just ridiculous about it like a pro is. Look, if you think that hitting 1,000 golf balls on a practice range and pouring down rain is insane, so do I, but that's what pros do. So some folks would say that, eating only skinless chicken and, never touching anything made with refined sugars and, working out at 5 in the morning for 3 hours is insane. And I would agree with you. But if you want to have a Adonis-like physique and six-pack abs, that's what is required. Does this make sense? Some folks would say, well, gosh, talking to everybody you know about your business and going around and being in people's living rooms all nights a week and doing trainings on Saturday, giving up all your free time to build an organization and travel around the country and spend all this money is insane. And I would agree with you, unless your goal was to make millions in that industry, in which case it just makes sense because that's what pros do. Are you guys beginning to pick up on this? What professionals have to do to earn pro-like money in any area of their life looks like insanity to all the amateurs. Did you get that? I'm going to say that again. The things that a professional does and the way that a professional lives to get to that level of performance and also compensation looks like insanity to everybody else. So if you're not fanatical about the things you say you want to change in your life or the improvements you want to make, then you're just not serious enough. Start becoming a pro at the things you want to earn pro money doing, or in the areas of your life you want to get pro results from. And that's the secret to being exceptional. Go make it a great week.